Hi everyone, this is Erica from Confessions of a Homeschooler and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to take a closer look at my Road Trip USA curriculum, and it's a geography curriculum that covers all 50 states for the United States, and it also includes a history portion as well. Plus there's a lot of history just in the information from each state as you go through. So if you'd like to take a closer look at what is included and any extra supplies you'll need and kind of what it looks like and how we use it, then let's take a closer look. Alright, so first off, the curriculum comes with your teacher's manual, and so we're going to take a look at that. I put mine in a binder, but you can certainly spiral bind it or however you want to do it. It kind of tells you what all is covered, so we do geographical locations, state symbols, you learn mapping skills, it talks about any famous landmarks or people or events, special food and recipes, craft activities. There's information on the U.S. Constitution, the Revolutionary War, the Underground Railroad, the Civil War, the pioneers, westward expansion, Native Americans, then there's reports for states, and then there's a state Jeopardy game. There's state and capital flashcards and some puzzles, and of course animals as well, like My Expedition Earth. So that's kind of just like a real quick overview. This is my edited copy, so you'll have to forgive the markings, but on here there's a list of core resources that you'll need, and basically everything comes with the road trip, but you will want to have some kind of like a wall map of the United States, or you know, I guess you could do it online, but I think it's really easier to kind of have something up in your room that you can look at. And then we also suggest that you get a United States atlas to go with it as well. And we just used this National Geographic's United States Atlas for young explorers, and this one is just kind of nice because it covers all kinds of information for each state, and it just has interesting facts, and it's nice and colorful and fun, and it's got mapping capabilities and stuff like that. So I recommend this one, but you can really just use any atlas that you want as long as it has some fun information on each state. You're kind of good to go. And there's a link to this at the beginning of the curriculum as well if you want to get that exact same one. The other resources that I recommend that do not come with the curriculum are these If You Were There kind of series. And these, most of them you can find in your library. If you can't, I mean, I purchased mine off Amazon so that we could use them to write this curriculum. But this is the more kind of U.S. history portion of the curriculum. So if you'd like to add history in, then I highly suggest you get these books. They're all listed on this resources page, and they're just good readers for younger students as well, and it just kind of covers all of the different things: colonial times, Constitution, American Revolution, Underground Railroad, Civil War, the Hopi, and westward expansion. And that is also kind of the order that the states go in. I get a lot of questions about what order we go in when we're using this curriculum, and we basically start out in the northeastern part of the United States and then kind of move to the southeastern, then Midwest, Southwest, and then the western side. And it's just kind of following the the expansion of the United States, so it kind of goes in chronological order. So I think that makes the most sense. But if you want to add in that history portion, these books are great to get. I've also seen them at places like Barnes & Noble and things like that, but they're really, really good. They're not boring, they're nice, and they share the content, but you aren't going to have your readers starting to fall asleep on you. So these were really fun, and those are an additional resource that are not included, but we did use them. So all of that is listed here, and then there's a whole list of some other fun additional resources that I'll show you towards the end of this video that we, you could add in, but they're certainly not required. It's just kind of extra, kind of fun stuff we had. And then you have your table of contents. Like I said, we start out in the Northeast, move to the Southwest, Southeast, Midwest. We do an introduction to the United States, just kind of an overall United States facts type of thing. And then Southwest, West, and then there's a review. There are also quizzes, reports, that kind of thing if you have older students and you'd like them to do a little bit more than just kind of, the fun projects that you'll be doing with your younger kids. So there's the kind of basic information. There's lots of kind of info pages at the beginning just to give you more information. And then here's sort of what one of the state pages looks like. So this is for Delaware. It'll tell you any materials you need for that state. And then it tells you what to do for each lesson. So this is kind of like all one lesson. You could always separate this out if it's too much for your kids, but essentially you're memorizing all of 50 states. So you do a little song at the beginning, and we just review this for quite a few times until you have it down. Then of course you're going to locate your state on the map. And then you're going to learn some information about the state, and this kind of is the same for all of the states, but you'll find it on the map. You'll learn out about their flag, state animals, like this one has a fish, a bird, a state flower, and then there's reading assignment for the If You Were There books that I just showed you. And then there's some more web links for, you know, just interesting facts about Delaware. There's one for each state. And then here is for the next day, and I broke these up so you're going to do 2 lessons per state, and then you kind of do a review. Like I said, if it's too fast, you can spread this out. That's if you're going to try and get through this whole thing in 1 year. You could easily spread it out to 2 years and then just you know, break these down a little bit more. But more information on, you know, the state symbols, state marine animals, wildlife, famous landmarks, any famous people. Delaware happens to be home of Amish County, so if there's any kind of, you know, famous or notable landmarks or regions or anything like that. Dover Air Force Base is located there. There's also Delaware Memorial Bridge, which is the longest suspension, twin suspension bridge in the world. And so there's information, there's a web link so you can learn more about that, and then there's also an activity, and there's always a food recommendation, like either a recipe or just a common food for that area. And then there's also animal cards that go with each region. And the animal cards I have just kind of rubber banded by region, so they're easier for me to find. But you'll be adding them to an animal wall, which I'll show you in just a minute here. And then if there's any extra links or information, it'll also be on there as well. And then of course you're going to add a flag to your travel log, which I'll show you in a minute when I get to my student workbook, just stating that you kind of visited that state. And then if there's instruction for any crafts, like for this one you'll build the suspension bridge, there's a supply list and directions how to do it, and pictures as well to kind of help you complete that craft. And then there's also, like I mentioned, recipes. This one was crab cakes. You can certainly look up a recipe if you don't want to make the one that's in this book and do that. And then there's always a review lesson after both states, and that is basically a Jeopardy game that we play, and I'll show you the cards for those. It's included in the teacher's manual, and so you can print these or you can just leave them in your teacher's manual. I printed them all out on cardstock, and then you can just kind of like review them really quick. And they have the question, the how many points, and this one has a bonus question on it, and then if you turn them upside down, the answer is right here. So as the teacher, I would just kind of go through these flashcards and keep points and let, you know, whoever student won that day or whatever could have like a special treat or whatever. But so you can use those. We use those for review. We also have a puzzle that I'll show you in a second that we use for review as well. So that's kind of about it, and it's kind of the same for each state. Again, your materials, and then, you know, any lessons and anything like that that you need. For each state, there's at least a fun recipe or craft. So like I already showed you for Delaware, there's the bridge. We built boats for Maryland. We did lighthouses in Alabama, space shuttles in Florida. Wisconsin, we built log cabins. We did a covered wagon for Texas. So, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of fun, like kind of additional things. You can do them or not based on how much time you have, but there's always the suggestion in here so that, you know, you're not kind of looking for extra things to do. So you'll get to do a lot of fun, fun things with this curriculum. All right, the curriculum also comes with these fun flashcards for each state, and so they have the state and a little picture of like the flower and the bird or whatever animal they have when they became a state, their capital and all of that. So we hung these up as we learned them on our wall. You could just use them as flashcards or whatever, and then it also comes with these little capital cards, and so you can just play a game and have them match up the capital with the state as well. And so these are just a fun like review game, and then any cards that have a heart on them like this were one of the original 13 colonies, so that helps them memorize what those were as well. And then I just keep these in little snack size Ziploc baggies just to keep them kind of together, and I just keep them together by region. And the curriculum also comes with an animals unit study because we always like to do that. And I have just rubber banded them by region, and then as you go through that region you can find the animal for each state and put it up on an animal wall. And this is currently what our animal wall looks like, and those blue titles at the top are mammals, reptiles, amphibians, fish, birds, and then as we go through the year you can just see that we add the animals to their selection based on whatever classification they are. Here's kind of a close-up of the wall. So as you can see, we have mammals, and then it lists all of the characteristics of mammals, and so we kind of review that regularly just so that everybody knows, and they get pretty good about putting the animals under their correct heading. And so there is one of those for each of the different classes of animals that you can add to your wall. And then here's kind of a full shot of what the wall is. It's about 3 feet wide by probably almost 5 feet high. There are quite a few animals included in the curriculum, so you'll want at least a decent amount of wall space if you're going to make some kind of wall like this to fit them all on. Okay, and then here is our student notebook, and we just used like a 1-inch binder, and then kept all of their information inside there. And so here's the travel log, and there's a template for that in your teacher's manual as well. And then it also comes with these printable state flags. And so every state that we went to, they just add it to their travel log. So that's just kind of a fun little thing. And then it also comes with these printable postcards, and so they can design a postcard for each of the states that you go through. And oh, that's from Alaska, a dog mushing book, but anyways, you get the idea. They make one for each of their states, and then they can write a little sample letter on the back. It also comes with sorry, I'm trying to cover Strawberry Shortcake's name here, but it also comes with a certificate of completion once you're done that they get, kind of saying, you know, hey, congratulations, you completed it. And then for the notebook, we put dividers. This is the student notebook. We put dividers in between each region, and then as we went through and made our little mini state books, we added them to the divider for that region, and then behind that region we added all of the worksheets that go with it. And so as you're going through the curriculum, they learn about each one of these things for the, you know, state facts, basically, state symbols. And so they color it and learn all that information. And so these are all the worksheets for the northeastern section. And then again, we have the divider for Southeastern and all of our state books. You can, if you prefer, do a lap book for these and just, you know, put your titles. This comes in the curriculum, in the student workbook, put them on a lap book, and then just add the states under each section of a lap book too. So we just thought it was kind of a little bit easier just to keep it all in one binder, but you can certainly do it however you want. And then if there was any crafts or anything that we did that could stay by that state, we would keep that in our student binder as well. A lot of the crafts are kind of more like three-dimensional type things, and so they didn't end up in this binder, but by the end of the year, obviously you have a completed binder with all 50 states in it with information. Here was like an Ohio moon phases activity and things like that. So if it could fit in here, we did it. We kept it in here. And like any projects that were kind of flatter, like when we made our flag at the beginning of the year, we kept in here. So that's what the student notebook looks like. And then also in this curriculum is a printable map, and then I laminated it and then just cut out the individual states. For the smaller states up here, I kind of, you know, kept some of them together because I knew they would be like impossible and get lost. But this is probably about, I would say, 24 inches like wide maybe by about 16 or so inches high. And so you can print this out. You could also enlarge it if you wanted and do this, make these into magnets, or, you know, put it on your wall as you learn each state as well. So this is just a fun little US puzzle, and you can just add each state as you learn it to your wall, or have them add that in, you know, every time they remake the puzzle. And the more they remake the puzzle, the more they remember the order of the states and where they're located, and the colors help them remember which region they're in as well. So this was kind of a fun activity, and we did do this more than once, just to kind of help us get, you know, just the layout down and remember where all of the states were and all of that. And then we also use it, I don't know if you can see in the video, but there are the state abbreviations are on here. So we would use these also as a game to remember, you know, which state is this by their abbreviations. All right, and then I have a couple extra things that are not included in the curriculum, but that we just kind of added in for more fun. And so this is actually a United States poster that I purchased from my like local teacher supply store. You can get them off Amazon or whatever. They're about 2 feet by I think 3 feet. I mean, whatever standard poster size is. I bought 2 of the posters, and one of them I left whole and put up on the wall. And then the other one, this one is laminated, and I put little Velcro stickies on the back. And then cut out each of the individual states, and then as we learned the states, we would add them up onto the poster. So essentially you have a whole poster on your wall with the hook side of the laminate, and then as you learn the state, your student can just add up that state onto the poster. So that was just another kind of fun review thing that we did. You certainly don't have to do that, but it just makes it a little bit more like hands-on and fun. One other thing that we did that was a lot of fun, and I organized this through my website, and I haven't really had a chance to do it again, but we set up a postcard swap, and so we actually mailed out postcards to several different people, and then they sent postcards back to us. So we ended up getting postcards from all 50 states. It was really fun, and the kids liked getting the different postcards in the mail and just seeing some information. Some people wrote it, some people typed information on the back. You could type it on stickers and just, you know, put them on if you're sending out a bunch of these. You might even look online and see if there's any postcard swaps you can sign up for. And if that's the case, you know, then, you know, definitely do it because it was a lot of fun. And then one other thing that we ended up adding in, because Highlights contacted me about these books, but Highlights Which Way USA is a really fun kind of magazine subscription, and I think you can sign up to get them all at once. The way that we signed up was you get 2 every few weeks, and so it kind of, we didn't always get the right one in time, so, but when we did, it was really cool. And the books each they come 2 at a time, and it comes for each state, and they come with a map, which is really fun. And on one side, it's like a map of the state with a bunch of different kind of fun information and, you know, just, you know, like main things about the state. And then on the other side, it's almost like kind of a bunch of different like postcard information about each state. And so just fun things, fun facts, fun you know, like landmarks and things like that about each state. And then the magazine itself has just a bunch of information about the state. Of course, like you know, the Highlights magazines do. There's lots of games inside and kind of fun things like that about each one. And so it was kind of fun. We didn't go through all of these because, like I said, we didn't get some of them in the right order, stickers and that kind of thing. But this was a really fun thing that to add in. And so that is basically the road trip curriculum. We had a lot of fun with this, and I think having all these hands-on kind of extra activities really helps kids remember the various states and their symbols and, you know, any kind of famous landmarks and people and that kind of thing. So I didn't show you, but in the teacher's manual there are also state reports, animal reports, quizzes, things like that you can do if you have a little bit older kids and you want to do that. So I hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at erica@confessionsofahomeschooler.com. You can also check out my website, and if you click on the geography tab, you'll be able to see what we did for each state. They're listed in alphabetical, or they're listed by region, I think, and then in alphabetical order. So you can just kind of check out and see what we did to give you a better idea of what's included for each state. So again, I hope you have fun. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, and I hope you have a great year.